Now, 2020 was the year of shopping online, even for cars. New car sales were well down in January year on year by 40%. But when you think about it, that means that dealers still sold 60% of the cars they would have sold, but with their showrooms shut. Does it mean that seeing and touching a car, sitting in it, having a test drive, aren't as important as we thought? Well, what's happened with new car sales in the lockdowns being watched very closely, as you can imagine, because a lot of jobs are hanging on it. Robert Forrester is Chief Executive of Virtue Motors. It has 147 dealerships across England. And Erin Baker has been looking into the sales figures. She's the editorial director of the car website Auto Trader. Erin, some car industry watchers believe that COVID's accelerated something that was going to happen anyway, a move away from selling cars through dealerships. What do you think?
COVID has definitely seen more sales online, undoubtedly. Our research at Auto Trader indicates more people are open to the idea than ever before. About 41% of consumers said that they would look at buying online. And then you've got disruptive new market entrants like Tesla, who've accelerated it. But I don't think retailers are going to disappear in a hurry because of the emotional factors of buying a car. You know, it's still a really expensive purchase for households, whether they're buying it outright or on a monthly finance plan. They want to see it and feel it and touch it and drive it before they buy it.
Robert Forrester, I said that you have sold 60% of the cars you would have sold in January, but with the dealerships closed. Do you accept that?
Yeah, I think that's right. And we haven't done it purely online retailing. I mean, that's the crucial fact. What is an online sale? An online sale to me is somebody who goes on a computer and presses a button and buys a car. And 99% of the thousands of cars that have been sold in lockdown haven't been done that way. It's far more omnichannel retailing with contact of people in dealerships.
99% of the cars sold, you're saying, have had some contact with a dealership in the process.
Oh, absolutely, 100%. On Saturday, just to give you an example, we sold 540 cars on Saturday to retail customers, but we sold 10 purely online. And my expectation is when we actually reopen in April for test drives, the vast majority of people will want to test drive. I think it's slightly different if you're taking out a personal lease and you know exactly what you want, like that gentleman, James. But actually, if you're trying to change your car manufacturer brand, you want to move from Mercedes to an Audi or Audi to a BMW, or you want to move to an electric vehicle, there is a massive amount of reticence about making those big purchasing decisions without actually physically getting in the car and understanding the experience.
Erin, one thing James Addy said was that it was good not to be harassed by all the different dealerships. You know, once you email in and you ask, then they start ringing you back if they're doing the job. Are there some people who actively prefer to keep out of a car showroom?
I think, yes, they are in the minority at the moment, and they may remain in the minority, but a larger minority going forwards. Interestingly, if you look at the gender split with consumers, I do a lot of work around female consumers, and we know, certainly anecdotally, that female consumers display more of a preference for online shopping because they traditionally have had a mistrust around the traditional dealership experience, which in the past, it's not like it now, I hasten to add, but in the past has been overly male dominated. And so we know from a survey we did back in 2017 at Auto Trader that 94% of women didn't trust dealerships.
I mean, harassment has never been a good sales technique for me, really. I mean, that clearly isn't going to work. But to make the journey as easy as possible, to enable video calls from the showroom to the customer's house, to be able to show videos of the car live, to build up that trust as an organisation and a salesperson with the customer is absolutely paramount. And the sales process is definitely changing. There's absolutely no question of that. It's just, you know, Tesla are an online retailer. They're an online retailer with 35 physical dealerships.
How would it compare with something like Ford?
Yeah, that Ford will be over 350, but you'll have lots of manufacturers which will be down to just over 100 now.
But you can see, can't you, that the Tesla way of selling cars, which is part online, and then there are some showrooms, it's not the way that manufacturers are currently selling cars. And some consultants believe that the dealership is an expensive way to sell cars and that manufacturers will want to cut dealerships out where they can and sell more directly online.
I think there'll be a move to online. I mean, nobody's going to argue against that, but you've got to think what dealerships do. 45% of the profitability of UK dealerships comes from after sales of servicing and repairing cars.
If you make a mistake, though, with a car and find you don't like it, if there's a problem with it, you can never expect a dealer to just take it back from you. But if you buy a car online, you are entitled to a 14-day cooling off period. And so in that sense, you have greater consumer protection if you buy a car online. Couldn't that be part of the appeal?
Well, actually, our marketing strategy at the moment is whether you pick it up from a dealership or have it as a distance sale. We have a 14-day money-back guarantee on used cars, and I think the market will move that way. If
But
I'm
that's
honest,
just
to
you,
get rid
isn't
of
it?
that difference.
At the moment, that's just you.
It is, but I don't actually think that is a massive consideration that somebody would buy online purely to get that 14-day money-back legal regulation. I don't think that's a major driver.
That was Robert Forrester, the Chief Executive of Virtue Motors, and Erin Baker from Auto Trader speaking to me this morning.